Hello guys, and welcome back. And in this video I am going to demonstrate how I wired up the under the table switch and the snap relay in conjunction with the wiring of the LED lights. So I figured before I showed you all the components that make up the wiring, I would make a quick sketch of how the wiring is actually done for the Alvaville Railroad, at least for this part. So if this, let's say this right here is my power pack, and I have a 16 volt AC, I don't remember how many amps it is, power supply on the back of my power pack. So if you remember from the previous video, I've got my positive wire running out the back of the power supply to a terminal strip. It's inside the control panel housing, or the control panel box. I have the same thing for, if that black's going to work, I have the same thing for the negative wire. It also comes over to a terminal strip. Now, if you remember, the terminal strips are actually, each terminal is actually connected to the other with the little jumper wires that I've installed for each terminal strip. So the reason I did that was just to keep track of what wiring goes to what as far as the individual switches are concerned. You don't really have to do it this way. It's just, for me, it helps me to keep everything clear in my mind, how everything's wired up. Not just for now, but just for even in the future, you know, if I have to go in there and replace switches or whatever. So so what we got is so coming out of the positive power, we have the lead coming out that actually connects to the momentary switch, and it connects to the single the middle terminal there. Now this momentary switch is a double pole, double throw, so I'm only using one pole. This pole right here, say. So the power coming out of the terminal is soldered to that. The power lead coming out of the terminal strip is soldered to that middle terminal. And then what I've got is I've got over here, I've got my my LED lights. Let's see, how can I draw this? So I have the power leads coming in on the LED lights like this, and then I've got this little resistor in line here so I don't blow the LED lights. We'll say this is the lights down here. Okay, so those are my lights. Not very bright, are they? Okay, so so what I've got is I've got coming into the positive lead on these LED lights, I've got another jumper that's wired from that same middle terminal to here. Okay, now on the LED lights, let me show you what they look like here. So hopefully you can see that on the camera. But on the LED lights, if you notice, they're you've got these little metal leads that come out of the actual light. So if you notice on each LED light, one of the legs is longer than the other one. So this would be the positive lead for each light. So what I've done is I took the longer of the two legs for each light and kind of twisted them together a little bit and cut a little bit off and soldered this resistor to them. And the resistors I bought, you know, I got a whole pack. It's way more than I would ever need, but it's a 5.6K ohm 1/4 watt resistor, and they're pretty small, as you can see, but that gets soldered in line with these positive leads on the LED lights. So what you have is you have something that looks like this right here. So as you can see, there's my lead coming out of the jumper coming out of the middle terminal, and it's soldered to the resistor, which in turn is soldered to the positive metal leads coming out of the LED lights. So as you can also see here on the momentary switch, I've got a green lead coming out and a red lead coming out. If you remember from several videos back, I kind of explained how these switches work. So you can basically think of it as a gate. You push it one way, and the circuits, the circuit is enabled to flow through the red wire and out through the green wire. The same thing here. By the way, this is 18 gauge wire here that's going to the terminal strips, and this is 22 gauge stranded wire that I bought at Radio Shack. Let's see. So they had this 22 gauge stranded wire, and it comes in green, black, and red. So this is what I'm using for the under the table switches and snap relays. So as you can see, I've got the green and the red wire soldered to these outside terminals, which would be, say, green here, like that, and then red coming out like this. Okay. So now what you have from there is as you can see, I put little connectors on here, and the reason I did that was because if the switch ever fails, then I can just pull the whole thing out of line. And so really what we've got, we've got our little connectors here. I won't draw those in, but these little connectors go to, so for the red wire, the connector goes here, like this. It connects there. And then on the other end, I have this spade bit with another little jumper attached to it. I don't know, probably about 6 inches long. So what this does is, if we look at the snap relay, as you can see, I've got 3 screws here. Now this middle terminal here, this is the common, or the ground wire. So this side or this side, depending on which way you want to set it up, takes the red wire and the green wire. So basically, coming from the momentary switch, for the red wire I have the spade bit, which might have to bend that a little bit to get it to fit in there. But the spade bit connects to one of those terminals. And the same thing for the green wire. Find the right wire here. There it is. So again, from the momentary switch, just got these little connectors, and I'm not going to plug them all the way in, but this spade bit's going to go here in the snap relay. Okay. That'll get screwed into place. Now again, I have this little 6-inch jumper. Now where these jumpers go is the jumpers are actually attached to the under the table switch. So let me just make a quick little diagram here. So if I have my switch here and have my snap relay here. Okay, then I have my 3 screws down here, and then I've got like 3 up here, 3 right here. So basically what we're doing, let me just draw my under the table switch in here, which I have like a screw here, and a screw in the middle, and a screw here, which are these 3 screws here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking that red positive power lead coming from the momentary switch, and I bring it up to one of the screws on the snap relay, and then I've got that 6-inch jumper that goes over to, one of the screws on the under the table switch. And so the same thing with the green. So the green wire will come in, connect to the snap relay, and then it'll be jumped over to the other screw. So as you can see here on the snap relay and under the table switch, both of these center screws here, that would be for the common wire, alright? And so, so then what we have is, we have coming from the terminal strip, I've got a wire for the negative side coming from the terminal strip. Now what this does, let's see if I can find it here. I've wired it up this way right here. So what I've got, this end here, this connector here, this is actually going to plug into the long wire that comes from the terminal strip. And then as you can see, I have these 2 spade bits. Notice one of the spade bits actually has another 6-inch jumper on it, okay? So what that does is that enables me to do this exact same thing that I did with the red and the green here, except with the ground wire. So what I'm able to do is bring the ground wire in here for the common and then jump it back over to the middle position on that under the table switch. Now also on the black wire, the common wire, I've got just this single spade bit. Now what this spade bit does here is it connects to the snap relay here at this screw, or this terminal. So if you look on the snap relay, I guess we'd be looking at it like this, according to my drawing. But as you can see here, I don't know if you can read that in the camera or not, but it says common right there across the snap relay. So both of these terminals here are common. And the way, in my case, the way I have it wired up, it's the black wire, the negative wire. So these 2 terminals here, this B and this A, you can think of these as your lead outs that are actually going to get connected to each side of the LED lights. So I've got my common wire in there with the spade bit, the single wire here, and then coming out from here, I just bring, say, the red light on this side to there, and the green wire comes from this one over to this one. So that's how it's wired up, and I don't know if you guys can actually see that, if everything's in frame or not, but that's how I wired it up. And again, the reason I did used the terminal strips and used all these connectors and everything, first of all, getting under the table and these spade bits just make it so much more easier just to stick it in there and screw it in instead of trying to twist wire and do all that. But these connectors here enable me to, if any one of the components fails within the circuitry for this particular throw out, I can pull that component out of line without really affecting any of the other components. So so that's how I've got it wired up, and I hope it makes any sense. If you guys are still wondering how I did it, if it wasn't, I'll try to explain a little better if I can. I'm not really sure if I can, but that's how I've got the Alvaville Railroad wired up for the turnouts. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.